You shouldn't ask yourself, how do I stop being so kind, so nice to other people, and how do I stop being a people pleaser? But you should ask yourself, how do I accept the way I am and love myself more so then I can be open-minded and true to myself in front of other people? Hi everyone, welcome. In today's video I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people struggles with in their daily life, and that is people pleasing, being too kind, being too nice. It is often something that prevents us from being authentic and getting our needs met. So that is actually a very problematic pattern that a lot of people struggles with. It is also something that we often joke about and kind of like treat it with humor, which isn't necessarily bad, but also it's not something that should be treated as lightly or something that we should just accept that we're doing and never change and never do anything about it. Because the problem is, if you go like this for a long time, if you are always the people pleaser, the kind, the nice person in a relationship, you're never being authentic, you're never getting your needs met, you become resentful and even hateful towards yourself and towards other people as well. We need to show people how to treat us and how to respect us, and that is by letting them see how we respond to them and how we treat ourselves. And oftentimes people actually respect and like us more when we do have opinions, when we do treat ourselves with respect. People have this different view of us that is more, it's higher, they value us more. It sounds very simple and easy to just stop worrying about what people think of you. Just do whatever you feel like you want to do. Just say no when you want to say no. Like, all this sounds very easy, but in reality, we fear rejection, we fear criticism. We don't want to be disliked by people, and we're going to explore today why we do that, what does it mean, and how to change that. Now, there isn't anything wrong with being nice, kind, compassionate, and empathetic. This is something very natural. This is something that we do, and basically our whole existence as a human species depends on that. Even animals are helpful and kind towards each other. But there's a difference between being kind and being a people pleaser. And the difference is that when you are a people pleaser, your whole view of self and how you value yourself depends on the opinions of other people. It's the so-called disease to please. We constantly feel like we need to manage our own anxiety by people pleasing and managing other people's feelings and their reaction to us. So in a way, people pleasing is a form of manipulative behavior. That is not to say that people with people pleasing tendencies are consciously manipulating others, but we definitely have this very deep seated need to be likable and not to be rejected, and natural ability to read people's emotions and their needs, so then we can kind of like curate our behavior to be likable. So we don't always show our true selves, we just show certain parts that we know that other person will like or appreciate. We want to avoid confrontation, we want to avoid criticism. So it's not necessarily to be liked, it's also to not be disliked, not to be confronted with any negative reaction from other people. So essentially we're trying to make other people happy. So why is that wrong? Why is that something that is manipulative? Like I stated, the manipulation starts when we are trying to kind of bend other people's perception of you. We don't show authentically, we hide some parts of us that we know that this person won't like or won't appreciate. So we are never actually the way we truly are. The really messed up part here, and this is where the personal struggle comes in, that is that people pleasing is kind of a double-edged sword. If you people please, you feel resentment towards yourself because you're not honest, you're not authentic. But if you don't people please, you're afraid of rejection and you're kind of nervous and stressed out that somebody may criticize you. But why some of us struggle with people pleasing? Well, that is related to our childhood, and some of it is from my own experience watching my parents do the same thing and not really being themselves around other people. And their reason might be that, as a child, maybe you were only appreciated when you were quiet and you obeyed. Love was conditional when you were a child. So when you got good grades, good behavior, awards, milestones, then you received love and appreciation. But that was pretty much the only case your parents gave you any kind of attention. Another reason might be that love was only given to you when you were meeting the needs of your caregivers. Maybe your caregivers, your parents, had very high expectations of you and they relied on you for emotional support. So you might have learned that in order to be accepted and be happy, you have to put the needs of others in front of you. Another reason might be that you grew up in an environment with a lot of conflict, a lot of fighting between your parents, divorce, maybe another sibling having lots of trouble, and you learned that you need to just kind of stay quiet and just keep in line, never stand out, never receive any negative attention from your parents because there's already so much going on. Being naturally shy, highly sensitive is another reason why we develop people-pleasing tendencies. Now, how do we change something that is so deeply seated in us, and it seems almost like it's our nature to people please, to be so kind and so understanding and so flexible? I always thought of myself that this is the best quality of me, that I am so flexible and I can just go with the flow, like it's all good, like I'm good with whatever. That was like always my answer, I'm good with whatever. In reality, the truth is I'm not, but I won't cause any disturbance. I won't cause any like criticism. I don't want somebody to be upset because I don't like to go there. I would like to do something else. I just won't say anything. I'll say whatever, I'm good with whatever, I'm flexible, I'll go with the flow. And in reality, it sounds really easy to just say what you want to say. Like, why won't you just say it, right? It sounds really easy. But when you are face to face with somebody who asks you, or a friend that asks you for help, but you actually that would cause you a big inconvenience and you can't do that. The most important thing to remember is that, you can't control how people react to you. They have their own experiences. They can be in a bad mood, and that doesn't, you can't influence. You can influence it a little bit, but in a way, they have their own view of the world and you that are going to put on you, and you can't control how they perceive you. I found that it's much easier for me to change my people-pleasing tendency or to stand up for myself with people that I don't really know well. Like, I have no problem telling the waiter that there's something wrong with my order. Or I once got a really bad haircut and I came home and I hated it and I spent money on it and it was really bad. And I went back to the hairdresser and I said, I need this fixed. It's really bad. I don't like it. And I did get it fixed. And I had no problem with that because I didn't know these people. I'm probably not going to see them ever in my life. So it didn't really matter to me. But the people that I do know, people that are my friends, people that I'm going to have a long-term relationship with, that is much more difficult because I constantly think about the future and how they're going to respond to me in the future if I'll say something that they might disagree right now, or if I say no, if I won't be able to help them right now, or if I express my opinions, and some of my opinions are pretty strong and they might not agree with that. I have watched and read a lot of content and books about how to stop being a people pleaser, how to stop being so nice and kind. And I explored a topic really intensely like a few years ago, and there were some helpful advice of how to practice saying no, stand in front of the mirror and like practice affirmation and things like that. But I find that it's really the issue of what is causing the people pleasing and why do I do it, and that's what I need to change. And the root cause here is that we often lack self-love and self-acceptance, so then we try to curate how other people see us, so we receive that acceptance and love and appreciation from other people. So I decided to look more inward and see how I can change those things, how I can love myself more, appreciate, accept myself more. This is the most important relationship of our life, and if we don't have self-acceptance and self-love, we struggle in lots of different roles and relationships. So this is where the real change happens. This is how we change the need to be constantly validated and constantly curate view of us that other people have. You shouldn't ask yourself, how do I stop being so kind, so nice to other people, and how do I stop being a people pleaser? But you should ask yourself, how do I accept the way I am and love myself more, so then I can be open-minded and true to myself in front of other people. And there is lots of different ways to build and work on true, deep to the core self-love, one of them being therapy, exploring different therapy modalities such as CBT, which is a cognitive behavior therapy that focuses on those kind of bended and not realistic thoughts that you have and view of yourself, So cognitive behavior therapy basically challenges those negative views and helps you notice when you feel or when you think of people pleasing, and helps you kind of replace it with a more realistic behavior and thinking. There's also something called schema therapy, which looks at your childhood and the schemas and the behaviors that you kind of internalized in your childhood, and challenges that, explores that. A great way to explore self-love is to spend a lot of time alone doing the things that you love to do, devoting lots of time to your hobbies, to your interests. Another way could be meditation, listening to affirmations, journaling, and also building a really strong self-discipline, getting rid of the negative habits that you have and building some healthier habits, just basically focusing on you. Once I started doing that more, honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. I am the way I am and I accept the way I am. I still have a lot to change and learn, but once you accept it and then you kind of realize, well, I would rather feel good about myself because I'm the most important person in my life. This relationship is the most important relationship of my life. Once you see that, once you understand that, you never want to put your worth and your value in other people's hands, because you might actually do something kind to somebody and they will see it in a way that you wouldn't expect. Maybe they'll think you're deceitful and you're not doing it because you are an honestly kind person. People are so weird sometimes that you just shouldn't put your own value and how you love yourself and to other people. Like, maybe they'll have a bad day and they'll criticize you, and then you're supposed to feel bad about yourself because somebody has a negative response to what you did. No, absolutely not. That is so hurtful. That is so unfair. So the true change here happens when you start accepting, loving yourself more and truly. And this is not something that you kind of like work on once and then it just continues. This is something that you continue working on throughout your entire life. But once you learn to do that, once you know what your values are, why is it important to love yourself, what you like to do, what you don't like to do, and what your priorities are, then you kind of respond to people from that place very organically, very naturally. That's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. If you have any thoughts and questions or comments, please let me know. And I hope you found this inspiring. Maybe you learned something. I'd love that for you. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye bye.